A very good evening and thank you so much for joining me on Uctv. My name is Nora Osende to bring you the bulletin. It is Tuesday, the 7th of May 2024. Today we start off at the Media Center, where a report from the Uganda AIDS Commission has revealed that adolescent girls between the ages of 15 to 25 years of age have the highest HIV prevalence rate in Uganda. Now, Dr. Daniel Byabakama of the HIV Prevention at the Uganda AIDS Commission revealed the report findings at the launch of the International AIDS Candlelight Memorial Day at the Media Center. The International AIDS Candlelight Memorial Day will be held in Hoima City. That's on the 17th of May this very year.
The HIV epidemic in Uganda remains heterogeneous, affecting different population groups and different geographical locations differently. As an example, 6 sub-regions in the country have an HIV prevalence higher than the national average. This includes the Greater Masaka, which is south of Uganda, at 8.3%, Mid-North, the Lango Acholi region at 6.7%, Kampala at 6.9%, the Southwestern region, Ankole Chigezi at 6%, North of Uganda at 6%. All the rest have an HIV prevalence which is less than average, with West Nile at 2.3% and Karamoja at 2.8%, having the lowest prevalence in the country. In terms of new HIV infections, we are seeing adolescent girls consistently continuing to be disproportionately affected. They are accounted for 36% of all new HIV infections, which is disproportionate. In second place, we notice that men, uncircumcised men who were formerly married, divorced, separated, they take second place in the number of new HIV infections. And in third place, we see formerly married women, divorced, separated women taking the third rank in the number of new HIV infections. In fourth place, we see children born to HIV positive mothers, and we see female sex workers coming in later, but because they are few in number, but the HIV prevalence in that population group is significantly high. We have also noted a slight increase in incidence among adolescent boys and young men. The prevalence among adolescent boys and young men has always been low compared to their female counterparts, but we are seeing a high incidence, a rising in number of new HIV infections, particularly among adolescent boys and young men who are uncircumcised. International AIDS Candlelight Memorial is commemorated on every third Sunday of May, that is every year. But in Uganda, we have chosen to commemorate ours not on Sunday, but on Friday, May 17th, 2020. The AIDS Candlelight Memorial is an opportunity for us to honor those who dedicated their lives to helping people living with HIV and affected by HIV, and to continue to mobilize our communities in solidarity. We know there is a wealth of evidence that stigma and discrimination undermine HIV prevention and treatment programs. Stigma is discouraging our people from seeking HIV prevention services, testing for HIV, and starting and staying on HIV treatment. We stand in our way when leaders of various categories oppose science and advance personal prejudices and opinions that sabotage evidence-based HIV control programs. An example, recently I went somewhere and I presented the statistics I've already told you, that men who are uncircumcised are being left behind. So many uncircumcised men went on social media and influential people, and they are advancing opposing opinions on the role of circumcision. So I said, okay, you stay there uncircumcised, we shall find out in the long term. So many influential leaders are voicing oppositions that are contrary to science, sabotaging the condom program, sabotaging the PrEP program, sabotaging the circumcision program. I don't know whether they do it premeditatedly or inadvertently. We stand in the way when we show no compassion to people living with HIV or members of their families. We have learned that some of the reason several people on HIV's treatment abandon treatment or do not show up for refills is because their families are not showing compassion. They must stay and do their part, their course. Employers are not allowing our people living with HIV, a day off to go for refills. We stand in the way when we condone gender-based violence, not only against people living with HIV, but against women and other marginalized groups. Our demographical survey showed that 54% of ever married women reported that had ever experienced physical, sexual, and emotional violence. 54%, it almost involves your sister or your stepmother. In addition to the trauma and other harm done, this gender-based violence is an impediment to ending AIDS. It has been shown to increase the risk of acquiring HIV, impaired use of HIV services and prevention tools, including treatment. It has been shown to worsen treatment outcomes.
The theme of this year's event, you've been told, is ending AIDS, keeping communities at the center. You all remember those who participated in the recently concluded Kabaka Run here in this region. Again, our theme was almost close to this, but it only again brought up men, that spearheaded by men. And as I will conclude, I will still ask the men to spearhead the struggle to end HIV and then AIDS in this country, because it seems we have the upper hand in this effort and this war. Not because we are massacre and energetic, but because we are persuasive, we are economically empowered, so we are strong in all fields. And somehow, somewhere, we become the devil, which I'm talking about, especially to attract the communities which my director talked about, and mainly the younger ones. So as we communities are put in the front line as responders when AIDS was first discovered in Uganda and was also known to be a death sentence. You remember that time when we were growing up, the moment you could be declared a victim, I don't know if that word applies, but the moment they find you positive, you remember those words which Madam was talking about of stigma. They say start preparing a spade and a what? And a hoe to make your grave. So it was a death sentence, which I believe because of the many efforts done by various people, including some of the first organizations which came up, like the AIDS support organization, TASO, and others, this was also dismystified a bit. And that's why this morning we are privileged to have a testimony from a person who has been a champion about this stigma. And we really appreciate and adore you, Dr. Otiti, for living the two lives.
The Minister for Public Service, Honorable Wilson Muliri Mukasa, together with a team from the Interreligious Council, have launched the very first Interreligious Family Festival due to take place on the 29th of June 2024 at the Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. The launch was done today at the Media Center in Kampala.
You know, every year, the family is celebrated internationally. There is the International Family Day every year, and this celebration here in this country is managed by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. It's normally celebrated in May as one of the international days. This time though, when the idea of celebrating the family was conceived by other key stakeholders, including the Interreligious Council of Uganda, the Global Peace Foundation, and other organizations that take family to be very important and core, we agreed as government that we celebrate the Family Day together with the Interreligious Family Festival this year, and we shifted to the 29th at Kololo Independence Grounds. So that's why we are here, to celebrate the family as a core unit, the family as a foundation of a nation, of society, the family really as the guarantor of the continuity and existence of the human race. So it's a very, very important occasion. Africa can serve as a focal point for uplifting shared values, sustainable development, and peace building. That's why everybody, and all these virtues are really required by everybody. So we are calling upon everybody to come, because we are direct beneficiaries of those virtues. And obviously there will be pre-event activities going on really for the entire week, that week, from around the 22nd. In Assam, I think, are going to start earlier, in Mayuge and so on, involving many people, including the youth. But that week, from 22nd to 9th, will be a very, very busy week, and there will be various activities going on to build up the climax when we celebrate this family day, when we have this big festival. And if I can recall properly, this is going to be the first family festival to be celebrated not only in Uganda, but on the African continent. That's why it has adopted these international dimensions and is drawing in a number of eminent leaders, past leaders, religious leaders, family members, patriarchs, name it, but people with a passion for family, people who are committed to the continuation and sustainability of the family as the core for humanity, development, economic transformation, name it. So there will be a number of activities, debates, roundtable, exhibitions, as we move towards that event. And of course it will culminate in that festival, as I saying, the first of its kind, and of course His Excellency, the first family gentleman in the country, will be the guest of honor. His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni will be the guest of honor. And of course, the various outcomes are going to be there. We expect that we shall not only celebrate, but also promote the African spiritual and cultural heritage. We expect to bring to the fore the role of families and faith in the communities, in strengthening the communities and confronting challenges which are affecting families today, modern families. And there are very many, ranging all the way from loss of faith, from the erosion of culture and traditions, but also poverty, disease, conflict, name it. And some of these challenges are not strange to us. We know them. We are living through them. But by celebrating, I think we shall be moving towards having more reasonable and sober solutions to them. Of course, we expect from that day onwards to increase the respect that we have for religious and cultural diversity in our country and on the continent. And we also expect that the family structure, family in the African sense, this structure will be further strengthened, and it is this structure which is going to bring about the African Renaissance, the rebirth, and Africa taking its lead in actually blazing the trail for the rest of the world.
such incredible stories of resilience and success.
You can manage dirty money.
With a topping of inspiration.
Get interested in people, not interested in yourself.
Inspire, achieve, repeat.
You are watching Uctv. Good news for all. For this and more, tune in to Kasese Get Radio 100.5 in Western Region, located at the hill of the Diocese of Kasese. KGR brings you all Catholic programs and an advertising platform in all our radio shows like Good Morning Renzori, Chama Toboka, Ukute, the business show, Propeller, the Rico show and sports, Evaluation, Bahinga Bakuluka, Late Night Show, and many others. Our other services include Isuzu Tipa, a no car, public address system, live band, Omokekera, an audio recording studio, and outside live broadcast. For more information, call 0773 597 166 or visit our website www.kasesegatradio.com. Kasese Radio, Omusondoria, the voice of truth.
The National Population and Housing Census 2024 is here. Uganda is to conduct the Census 2024 this May to update our population status that will support government to plan for every citizen. The numeration team is in the field to respond to all the necessary interests by you and me as they register all of us. Note that the Census night is 9th May 2024. Let us all be part of this exercise by working with the numerators, provide correct data and information. This exercise is to assist the government in planning government resources properly, provide efficient service delivery, and the formulation of national policies. The numeration will start on the 10th to 19th, 2024, and the counting will be done at our homes or places of residence. The Census 2024, it matters to be counted. This message is brought to you by Dr. Chris Mukiza, the Executive Director, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, and the Government of Uganda.
In our Uganda Matters Futures tonight, we bring to you the story of Saint Muga Lua.
Saint Muga Lua. Lua was a Muganda of the Ngo clan. His father was Mazinga, who had 3 wives. The mother was Munanaduli Nasua of the Buffalo clan, who gave her son another name, Mugaga, expecting him to amass some fortune. The name means he is rich, according to Chiganda custom. Mugaga was sent to Seddu Kajinda, the head of the clan, for the better training in clan affairs. It was Seddu who presented him to King Mwanga's services as a page. He worked first in the audience hall under Charles Lwanga, and then he was taken to the private section of the enclosure under Joseph Mukasa. It was these two who gave Lubowa solid religious instructions. He had fought hard against the blandishments and threat of the king for virtue of chastity. He was very much helped by Balikudembe and Lwanga because he was open to them. Lubowa was kind, intelligent, cooperative, trustworthy, always ready to help others but not caring for himself, and dressing rather roughly. He was strong in both body and determination and used to gather his equals for religious instruction, games, handcraft, etc. that they used to do during their free time. When the Christian persecution broke out, the night before the arrest, Mugaga was baptized by Charles Lwanga. He was arrested on Wednesday, May 26, 1886, taken to Namugongo and burnt to death on Thursday noon, June 3, 1886, at the age of 16. Mugaga is the patron of clubs, community development, culture, and homecraft.
Well, that's all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching UCTV News. I am Nora Sende. Do have yourself a good evening and a good night.